Well. Welcome back to New York Sports WickerMedia. I'm Wa2K99. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch these videos. So the New York Jets and the New York Giants finish out the preseason on Saturday night in where else but MetLife Stadium. And the Jets have already made the announcement they will be resting their starters. Now, at first, I wasn't thrilled to hear the news, but the more I think about it, the more I really look at the joint practices. The more I hear the players talk about what an intense training camp it was, I'm not minding that decision quite so much anymore. But this is still an opportunity for some of those players on the fringe of the roster to make one last impression, to have their names put on the final 53 roster, and cut down day will be this coming Tuesday at 4 p.m. So what I want to do on this video is mention 5 New York Jets whose roster spots might be in jeopardy, and they got to show out in this game against the Giants. Number 1 is Israelabanikanda. You know, he's the 4th running back on the roster. The Jets already have the youngest running back room in the league. Now, through the preseason so far in 2 games, he has 12 rushes for 46 yards and 1 touchdown, which was a walk-in from 2 yards out, plus 1 catch for 8 yards. Now, more than that, his running style, it's been more assertive this year than it was last year, and I readily acknowledge that. But the Jets' 53-man roster needs to be mainly comprised of players who are going to play. Think about this. If Izzy does make the 53, he's likely to get deactivated every week. You know, when you have 3 running backs, young, running backs who are in that spot, they're the ones who are going to get the playing time. 2 well-thought-of rookies and possibly the best in the world. So Izzy, I don't know what else he could do, but he's going to have to do something pretty notable, I think, on Saturday in order to make this roster. Number 2 is Jason Brownlee at wide receiver. This may be the most up-and-down Jet we've seen in the preseason, this side of allenlazard. But we all know allenlazard will be on the main roster. So if we look at the wide receiver situation, I think you've got 5 locks: Garrett Wilson, Mike Williams, Malachi Corley, allenlazard, and Xavier Gipson. That leaves spots for 1 to 2 more wide receivers. Now, I think Irv Charles is in due to his special teams prowess, even though he has a bit of a hip issue right now. I think he makes the roster. Then you've got Brownlee, you've got McCutcheon, you've got Brandon Smith, who's looked very good when Martinez has been throwing him the football. But I think if Brownlee earns the spot, he will be on the roster. So far, like I said, very up and down. 2 catches on 7 targets for 18 yards, did have a great touchdown, but he also had an absolutely terrible drop. Now, typically for a game, the Jets are going to activate about 5 wide receivers in a game. So even if he does make the roster, don't count on a ton of him, especially as Mike Williams gets healthier and Malachi Corley develops more confidence for the pro game. So I think Brownlee, if he plays well, he's got it. If he doesn't play well, I think he could get cut. Now, let's go to the defensive side of the ball. Michealclemons. At this point, I think Clemons' roster spot might actually be in jeopardy, because where has the production been? I have barely even noticed him on the field. 1 assisted tackle in 2 games. That is not going to do it. I barely noticed him. Takk McKinley, on the other hand, I think he should be above Clemons on the depth chart at this point. He has played the run and pass very, very well. He has played it as well as any defensive end not named Jermaine Johnson. And the rankings on PFF back it up. The production backs it up as well. At this point, I think Clemons could be in a little bit of jeopardy of getting cut. I don't expect it necessarily, but he has to show something in these games more than just showing up with a barbed wire wrap 2x4 and showing off his abs. Jeff Ulbrich can say in the press conference that Clemons, he's got the speed again. He's dropped some weight. He's back where he was during his rookie year, and that's all well and good. But we got to see it during games. So far, we're not seeing it. Now, number 4 for me is chazzsurratt at linebacker. I know Robert Saleh loves him. He has a team-high 13 tackles through these 2 games, plus 1 terrible penalty on defense when he basically body slammed one of the Carolina players after the whistle had blown. Now, I think his spot could be in jeopardy because Zaire Barnes, the second-year linebacker, has been emerging. He has 11 tackles. He's got more speed than Surratt, and he seems to be looking much more confident than last season. It comes down to a simple question. Will the Jets keep 5 linebackers? I don't know if they will. I think it's a spot where the Jets can get away with 4 linebackers because they play the 4-2-5 defense primarily, and Jamien Sherwood has been looking better and better as a 3rd linebacker. A 5th linebacker might be redundant on the squad. And that kind of leads me to my 5th player, and that's Brandoncodrington, who has become sort of the darling of the preseason with his return ability. He's not going to get on this roster because he can play defense. It's almost like Justin Hardy part 2. Not that Hardy was a returner, but he was there for special teams ability. Now, I would love to see him get the spot. I think with this new kick return format, you really want somebody who can return because you need 2 returners in that landing zone. And I trust Bram Boyer, good a special teams coach as he is. I trust him to make Codrington even better than he already is. So far in the preseason, 2 kickoff returns for 75 yards, 63 was his long. His punt returns 3 for 59 yards, 31 was his long. But I would feel a lot better with him in that spot than I would say, much as I like Xavier Gipson in that spot, he has been prone to fumbling. That does scare me. But Isaiah Davis could do it. Malachi Corley could do it. But I'd like to see Codrington get the bulk of the reps. So maybe if you cut Surratt at linebacker, that opens up a spot for a Codrington in the return game. Who knows what's going to happen? Jets are going to have some big decisions to make now and Tuesday. But you know what? It's going to hurt because the Jets are going to lose some good players. But that means you've done a good job at acquiring talent, and that's a credit to the front office. So those are just a couple of players to watch on Saturday with Jets Giants. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'm on the march to 1,000 subscribers. And join me every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Wednesday night live show. All right, everybody, have a great rest of it. I'll see you right back here with more content from you know where, the Wicker Chair.